Daniel Joe here. I don't know if this is clear enough. It's evening, it's a late evening, and I'm sitting here and I just wanted to share a bunch of things that's on my mind. There's a dog on the background and I'm just recording right into the computer. So I'm very obsessive about certain things. For instance, when I do production or when I do these things that I do all the time. And one of those things I do all the time is when I come from production, the first thing I want to do is dump or bank my footage. I don't play about that. I don't play with it. I just want to bank it. I want to make sure that it's saved in the right place. It's all good. I don't play with that. Done, it's done, it's done. The second thing I'll do, I'll take the battery out of the camera and charge it. Make sure that it's getting charged already. There's no doubt about that. And then I'll make sure that all my equipment are in the same place and they're all arranged in a certain way. So simple things like that. But it's obsessive. I'm very obsessive about this stuff. It's stuff that I've come to do over time because, like for instance, this happens a lot. You go film things in the field and you go travel and you go do this. And then you take that card, and normally I'll protect that card with my life, So you take that card and you don't bank that stuff. You don't, like at the end of the day or at some point. And this is another thing before I get there. So when I'm shooting and I'm filming all these things, what I'll do at some point is remove the card and keep it safe and then start with a new card just to make sure that you don't have all the footage in one place, because what happens if you lose the footage, then you lose everything. So there's that. And then when you come at the end of the day, you're banking this stuff into another place, So you have a copy of this stuff. That's kind of important because now you have a backup to the backup. And then also sometimes when you fly, you lose the footage. So sometimes I'll bank it up online. And now we have tools that when you're shooting, it's backing up on the computer and those kind of things. Sometimes you don't have those tools, but when you have those tools, use all of them. Also, you need to find a way that works for you. I know that sounds kind of redundant, but you need to find a way that's like a system that only you can use that works for you. So there's all these sort of things. For me, for production, when I'm shooting, I want to know where I'm going to be shooting. I need to know what equipment I'm going to be using. And I want to carry only the stuff I need to carry. Like for example, I carry one camera body, one lens, which is bulletproof. I mean, like a lens that will do majority of what I want to do there. And then probably a mic and a tripod or a monopod. Try to keep it light. And then also I will carry a headphone, probably a tablet, to take notes and to get entertained in the meantime and to look at the projects and whatever, all those kind of things. Pen and paper, great bag, jeans, a t-shirt, drink, water. I'll have a lot of water, probably a liter and a half, probably a snack or two. And I'm learning how to eat, so that's also important. Some spare money, like just emergency money and stuff. Don't leave home without emergency money because sometimes you go on a project and they say they're catering for everything and then stuff changes. And now you're trying to call people to get money and stuff. And then also make sure that you pre-planned the production. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes you get the chance to do all this stuff, and that's kind of important, really, really important. So those kind of things. And then when you get there, make sure you get your room and you get the policy there. What's the policy? Can I lose my equipment? Is it safe? Is there safe? All these sort of things. What happens if I lose my equipment? I mean, talk to the locals. Go out across the road and find people who live there. You have to find a local fixer. Some guy who knows the ground, who's respected the ground. You have to work with the people in the field. There's all these sort of things. It's not the easiest of things. Production is really difficult. In fact, it's impossibly difficult. However, and sometimes the reward is not even it's not worth it sometimes because the client will be happy, the people watching will watch once and leave. However, when you get it right and you just get the work done on and you bring it back, it's awesome. You achieve a lot because you're capturing the moment, either photography or filming or writing, whatever that is. You have all this footage, you have all this data that you collected. Even if you're just doing field research, you have this data you collected. I like cloud tools. I like Google Docs and Google Photos and YouTube and all these places that you can, like Dropbox. Save it in a place where you can get it later. It's really important. And Wi-Fi is getting all over the place. There's connectivity everywhere. If you can get, like for example, when I'm eating, I sit on the computer and I'm backing up stuff. And if there's good internet, I'm backing up online, So when you come back, you sit at your workstation and you try to figure this out. Now, have a system. This is the worker I have gotten, and normally it's a ton of work. Where do you start? Where do you go next? How do you go next? All this sort of stuff. And then you just move on from there and then make sure that the work that you've done is captured in the form that you wanted to capture. And that sort of thing, it's really important because sometimes you'll go into the field and capture this work. And then something is lost in translation. And normally what is lost in translation is, what was the aim of this? What was the purpose? And sometimes you'll come back and have to redefine that for yourself, whatever that means. You'll have to sit back and say, okay, this is what we were trying to do, or this is what we're trying to do now. Or you've gone to the field and stuff has changed. So now you have to redefine what the original intent will always change, because stuff always changes. It's the dynamism of life. You start here, you go there. So when you go to the field, normally you go with an open mind. Although you don't go with an agenda, you go with an open mind, and you go with these are the parameters I want to play within. However, I'm open to finding out what's going on out there in the world, and then based on that, you come back and you say, okay, fine, this is what's going on in the world, this is what I found out, and this is what I want to do now, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this is who I'm going to work with, because they're the best in the industry, or whatever it is that's important for you. And then what are the tools I'm going to use, and how long it's going to take, all this interesting stuff. From that point on, you move on to the next level, whatever that next level is. And also, once you come and sit down in your desk, you have to put a timeline on whatever it is you're working on. It can't be forever. I know I repeat this all the time. You cannot work on one thing forever. You have to start cutting it down and say, okay, I'm going to work on this. It's going to take 10 days or 5 days or whatever. And you got to quantify that in a way that makes sense. And you got to think of it as a business. Even if it's not a business, even if it's a hobby you're doing, you have to look at it like it's taking your time. And time is very precious, valuable rather, not precious, but very, very valuable. And based on that, so now you move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But you need to pick the end time. This is when this should end, and then work backwards. After producing this stuff, where is it going to go? Who needs to see it? How are they going to use it? How is it going to be impactful? I'm getting to a point now, in life where a lot of things have happened to me, and I want to do significant work. I want to do important work, and not in terms of fighting the system and fighting power. And I did that when I was a kid. I want to do work that's important to me and important to others. Work that you can look at and say, whoa, this is something, because we can all talk until the cows come home, and there are no cows anymore in the city. However, the essence here is basically, and I know I might sound like I'm rambling, but this essence here is, unless you get out of your comfort zone, unless you get out of yourself and go into the world and do a bunch of things, nothing's going to happen. But then if you go into the world, plan that, prepare for the going, for the coming, for the result, and for the after the result. So you find fame and notoriety and get acknowledged, but then you don't know what to do with that because you never prepared for that. Plan for success and prepare for failure too. Again, this is just conversations I want us to start having, because together, if we keep having conversations, we'll go somewhere, Okay, you might not know what I mean, because I don't know what I mean most of the times. However, the beauty of having conversations is we learn new things about each other, our strengths, our weaknesses, and how we harness weaknesses and strength and create something even more beautiful all the time. Again, thanks for listening. My name is Duwa, mentor, filmmaker, writer, poet, all-around creative. Good stuff.